All right, arm wrestling family and friends, we are back, episode 3, or I don't know what episode it is, but we are here, Travis Bagent Unfiltered, and every question that I get for the last 3 weeks since this whole thing started was, it's all about arm wrestling, and there's all these technical questions about grip and straps and all this stuff. So I'm gonna, once again, I think if you rewind it, I've done this for other people, but we're gonna officially give you my little insight of, from a strategy standpoint when it comes to, you know, just the starting grip and exactly what my philosophy and exactly what I'm trying to do at the table. So first and foremost, technique and you know, how you're going to arm wrestle, it's totally depending on who you're arm wrestling. So what I really try to do is I don't try to be super well-rounded, and I don't want to learn a bunch of combinations in this world so that I can unlock them depending on who I'm arm wrestling. And I think that some people really try to work on the press and the hook and the setup and the catching and the King's move, and they got all these things that they're working on, when ultimately what I find is best for Travis is to only work on what I would do if I was arm wrestling someone who I felt was stronger than me, better than me, or that could beat me. So when I'm in a 100% high alert, scary moment, I'm always resorting, like I think most of us are, at the one thing that we do the best. So this is what I'm thinking at the table. Like, people always say, what kind of grip should I get? So I have developed in the last 5 years this situation where I am no longer wrapping my fingers around my opponent's hand and attempting to control them ever. There are times when I am, undermatched. In other words, I can beat this guy, I could pull any way I wanted. Well, then I will hold on to him out of the straps. But the fact is, when push comes to shove and it's super important for me, my philosophy is always the same, right? I'm gonna get up to that table and I'm gonna realize that I'm only gonna pull good competition in the set grip. And the reason is because I understand that if you are, quote unquote, a good arm wrestler, then you recognize when you have a good grip, and you would only start if you had a good grip out of the set grip. Hopefully that makes sense. The fact is if the other guy is comfortable, it makes me uncomfortable. So I don't want the guy to turn into a hook, grab my hand and turn me out. I would rather him keep his wrist straight and just close his hand. And one of the things that that philosophy has what's happened to me because of that is, a lot of times in the set grip, even though I wanted to get a bite on someone's hand back in the day, I would sacrifice my good grip as long as they didn't have a good grip. And then it evolved into a situation where I feel really comfortable not bending my wrist to close my hand, and essentially trying to invert my hand a little bit and really leave enough room there for me to close my hand and just make a solid fist. So all the training that I do is with a fist. I don't grab on the things and pull them to me. I hook straps up and apparatuses up to this fist, and I do movements, whether it's pull-up movements, side pressure movements, back pressure movements, but always with a fist and not with anything inside my hand where I'm trying to control it. So not a big fan of fat grips and any sort of handles or tools that are needed, because all of those things kind of teach you to hang on to people and kind of work your hand grip. So for me, the fist is most important. And as we go on in the next few videos, and if you go do some research, you'll see that I'm not turning in. I'm not getting that cupping foul or that carving foul like many arm wrestlers are, because I'm just interested in making a fist. So if my philosophy works well and I'm in the set grip and I'm able to make that fist, most of the time one of two things are pretty much going to happen. Either the person is going to attempt to control that fist and hold on to me and lose in the process, or they let go because they try to control that fist and then they find out that it's a little too much for them to hold and they slide around it. And I'm in no situation to grab onto their fingers or not even caring, because I also, because of my pulling style of making a fist and being in a set grip, I will be arm wrestling in the straps most of the time. So my advice to you guys is to be, like I have it written down here, be overly prepared in the straps, meaning that if you should be better in the straps than you are out of the straps, because if you are better out of the strap, trust me, that information will be seen and heard and watched by your competition, and they will immediately put you in a set grip and put you in the straps, things that are super hard for you to control. The set grip's really hard. You have to convince the ref that he's not trying to get a grip, and let's face it, in most of our rules today, you can go right to the set grip. And to take it even further, the WAL is after 30 seconds putting you right in the strap. So if you're not prepared to be in the set grip or in the strap, it's gonna be tough to win when the opponent has a pretty good path of getting those two things. So be overly prepared in the straps. I've spoken to you guys about having those two resistance straps, braiding them together, ending with those two loops, sticking your hand in there. I get this question all the time, is where should the strap be? Well, it's really simple, guys. If you hook that connection up to your body and you measure your power output, you can decide that if moving the strap up and down, left and right, more of your hand in the strap up on your wrist, it doesn't really matter. We're all built different, but you should be able to stat and record that information. So if I lower the strap an inch, 2 inches lower than my wrist, and make sure that my hand is way up in the strap and that strap is going down the bone line of my thumb, what it allows is a lot of my hand to be in the strap. And for me, it's where I can get the most power output. So I'm hooking those resistance bands up in front of me, those resistance bands in front of me. I'm braiding them. I'm creating that strap look. I'm hooking the strap up just like I would if the referee was doing it. And I'm putting my thumb right here on my face, chin somewhere. I've got my elbow way out in front of me, and I'm starting to take steps backwards. When I can go as far as I can go before it takes my hand off my face, I know that it's time to stop. I mark that area, and I know where the strap is on my hand and how far I could go back. And all I'm looking for is that 1 rep max. And wherever the connection is during the 1 rep max is where I should have it when I'm pulling in a tournament. We also know there's referees are gonna put it certain places, but trust me, you'll know if you do that enough exactly where you should place the strap. So don't make it a big mystery that someone knows technique that you don't know. The fact of the matter is if you train intelligently, you will figure out exactly what you're doing, attempt to simulate it as much as possible, and there's plenty of simulations. I mean, every arm wrestler in the world are doing these videos now. So for me, it's resistance bands hooked to this fist and keeping it very simple. Knowing that because of that technique, I'm gonna slip out, being overly prepared in the straps. The last thing that I'll tell you guys is people talk about why is your hit so good or how do you get so fast? And I'll tell you that the most important attribute that I have as an arm wrestler, the thing that separates me is my timing. I got great timing, right? I got great timing. So I'm always first. This is a very short range of motion, right? About 6 to 8 inches that I have to move. If you get the jump start in a very short race, it can help you. So everything that I do is, I believe, somewhat dependent on the fact that I have great timing. So I don't want to if you have terrible timing, none of this may not work. I mean, I'm not sure. I know that I do possess great timing, so it is a big part of the deal. So to me, timing is what my hit is, right? I have the ability to either hear the go or react to the go faster than my opponent most of the time. But another thing that is super important is this phrase right here. And the phrase says that if you hit as hard as you can, most likely you're in a bad arm wrestling position afterwards. So let that sink in for a minute. If I am hitting and I'm worried about my elbow staying in that elbow pad, or I'm worried about the position I'm going to be in if I'm stopped, if my momentum is stopped short. If I do those two things, then they will keep me from hitting as hard as I possibly can. So just let that be a lesson to you. The next time you are in a situation where the competition is close and you understand that you have to finish this person as fast as possible. You're not the guy who's trying to catch and outlast him. You're trying to win as fast as you can. A lot of times we don't hit as hard as we can because we're worried about where we're going to be afterwards. I am telling you that it is better on that first serve, which is you arm wrestling without any fouls, to hit so unbelievably hard that you're in no position to actually arm wrestle afterwards. So if you are not lucky enough or blessed enough to win, the match does get stopped because your elbow is, in the next room somewhere. So those are 3 tips that you can take with you from this episode. First and foremost, only pull good competition in a set grip. Don't let a good guy get the grip he wants. Second of all, be overly prepared in the straps. Every single match you arm wrestle at practice, you should have those braided straps and that connection, and you ought to be very prepared and understanding about where you want that strap. And third, hit so hard you can't even arm wrestle after the hit. And then if your back is to the wall and you do have some fouls, then you can go back to your other style, which is to hit to some position and try to get there so he can't beat you. I understand that position, but I'm telling you, don't sleep on hitting so hard that you can be super efficient in these events and take care of your competition fast. So that's the philosophy of the Beast. This has been another YouTube video from Travis Bagent Unfiltered. Please hit the subscribe button. We're gonna get more into this, and this is like Arm Wrestling 101. We're gonna start working on pre-cal and calculus and trigonometry and all that good stuff. But for right now, we'll just keep it brief. Thanks a lot. See you next time.